Hi, and welcome to this tier webinar featuring our module on mental health supports and services for students within a multi-tiered system of support. Today, I will be joined by Dr. Angela Ward, who collaborated with us in developing one of the pathways within this module. Before we dive into that module, however, allow me to provide some information about tier and the modules and pathways we are developing. If this is your first time joining us, thank you and welcome. We hope that this information provides some greater context. If you viewed some of the previous webinars, we hope this provides a bit of a refresher. So the tier network, Tiered Interventions Using Evidence-Based Research, is one of 9 technical assistance networks funded by the Texas Education Agency, TEA. You may have seen it previously referred to as Intervention Best Practices. TIER is designed to provide a comprehensive and coherent plan for intervention best practice across the state of Texas. We do this through a focus on multi-tiered systems of support because that is where intervention best practices occur. Through the creation of professional learning content and resources, TIER aims to support LEAs and schools with their MTSS framework. The TIER team has collaborated with experts from across Texas's regional service centers, school districts, and nationally, we've collaborated with experts from universities and national technical assistance centers to develop professional learning content and resources. This content is organized within the 10 different modules seen here. Each module contains a set of materials, presentations, handouts, and videos that can be used to deliver professional learning to your stakeholders. Today, we will showcase the module Mental Health and provide an overview of the module itself and spend some time spotlighting one particular presentation, Restorative Practices. A little about the modules. We've designed these modules in a choose-your-own-adventure format. They're designed to meet the needs that you identify for your stakeholders. Each module could be implemented in its entirety or by its subsections, what we call pathways. In that choose-your-own-adventure spirit, a pathway would be a presentation that you choose to share with stakeholders. The entire module could last anywhere from 3 to 20 hours. You could choose to deliver this module in its entirety from beginning to end. You could do it in total spaced across a few semesters, or you could present it in parts, the pathways, again, based on identified stakeholder needs. The pathways themselves are the subsets of the modules. They're also designed to be implemented in their entirety and can be presented in alignment with the module itself or as standalone presentations. Similarly, the pathways could be condensed or combined by you depending on the needs of your stakeholders. One pathway can last anywhere from 20 minutes to 3 hours depending on the subject area. These pathways are also designed to be delivered in a face-to-face traditional professional learning environment where we provide you with speaker notes and handouts, or you could also share these as what we're calling on-demand learning experience, where videos will be online with access to the appropriate handouts. The benefit of these on-demand videos also is that the trainers can view these beforehand and see how the content was delivered by the original developers. We also believe the videos will be helpful for individuals to access this information on their own and can be used individually or in small groups. So today, let's look at the mental health module. This module focuses on the importance of supporting students' mental health and social emotional needs to improve student outcomes. It is comprised of 4 pathways. These pathways are designed to provide evidence-based strategies and tools on effective and practical ways to connect and integrate mental health supports and services, social emotional learning, restorative practices, and trauma-informed care, all within an MTSS framework. As a whole, this module could be delivered in approximately 8 hours. Today, as an example of the content within this module, we will spotlight key elements of the restorative practices pathway. This pathway can be delivered in conjunction with the other 3 pathways or as a standalone presentation. It can last between approximately 60 to 90 minutes. I'd like to note also that this pathway has already been filmed by Dr. Angela Ward and will be available on our website once that website is live. Likewise, the face-to-face version is completed and will also be available on our website with accompanying speaker notes and a handout packet. At this time, I will hand off to Dr. Angela Ward. It is our pleasure to have worked with her on this, and it is our pleasure to have her here today to help us spotlight this training. Dr. Ward is a nationally recognized educator who was named one of Ed Week's Leaders to Learn From in 2019. She has been featured in the spring 2019 edition of Teaching Tolerance magazine and is a recipient of the Austin Area Urban League's Founders Award. Dr. Ward manages the Austin Independent School District's focus on cultural proficiency and inclusiveness. She directs, organizes, and establishes systems and protocols for district-wide restorative practices and culture and climate innovation. In this role, Dr. Ward conducts research and collaborates to offer professional learning opportunities to implement a district-wide level of awareness and attention to issues of bias, bigotry, prejudice, discrimination, and racism to eliminate disproportionality and disparities across the system. Prior to leading this effort as a district administrator, Dr. Ward served as a campus administrator, teacher leader, and classroom teacher. As a private consultant, Dr. Ward facilitates dialogue and advocates for liberating workspaces and school spaces, focusing upon issues of equity, inclusiveness, and relationship building. Thank you, Dr. Ward, for being here. I'm going to allow you to share your screen and take over from here.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I'm so excited to talk with you today about the TIER Mental Health Services Restorative Practices pathway. And so in this pathway, as I developed it, it was very important to me to highlight the indigenous roots of restorative practices and to recognize that these practices were gifted to Western society, Western civilization by indigenous communities across the world. The practices are thousands of years old. They were not developed in the United States. They were developed across the diaspora, from the United States to communities in other parts of our world. And so we wanted to make sure that we highlighted that as we looked at what this looks like in the context of a classroom space, a school space, and a whole school space. And so I wanted to bring to you the voices of two principals that I work very closely with in our school system. So I wanted to share that with you. So culture. As we think about the word culture, we want to recognize that culture is not just about race. Culture is race, it's ethnicity, so it could be your part of the world, your community. It could be the way that you engage with other groups. So any group that you belong to represents culture. Your beliefs, your values, your bias, all of those things go into culture. And as we think about how to begin culturally responsive restorative practice on our campuses, we have to first understand that there's praxis that goes into the ways in which we do this work. So we highlight the word culture and culture as specifically because we know that your lens shows in your work and ultimately affects the success of each student in your care. And so we want to highlight that as we move forward in this brief overview. So as you engage with this module, you'll meet Principal Letty Pina. She's the principal of Austin ISD Blazier Elementary. And she talks about culture in the context of working with her teachers, working with her families, and working with the community for her campus. And so we talk a lot about the ways in which she has developed professional learning, the strategies she uses to engage her teachers, and how as a collaborative leader, she has utilized professional learning as a key tool to how she implements restorative practices on her campus. As we hold space for the indigenous roots and the historical aspects of restorative practices, we hold true the 7 core assumptions of restorative practices, that the true self in everyone is good, wise, and powerful, The world is profoundly interconnected. All human beings have a deep desire to be in a good relationship. All human beings have gifts, and everyone is needed for what they bring. Everything we need to make positive change is already here. Human beings are holistic, and we need practices to build habits of living from the core self. These are core assumptions that we continually come back to as we do this work with our students, with our families, with our staff, as we're developing those culturally responsive whole school learning environments. And as I shared, the indigenous roots of restorative practices, in the module, you'll be encouraged to understand what your personal connections are to the indigenous roots of restorative practices. And as culturally responsive educational leaders, we know that we're responsible to the land that was gifted to us. Well, that was not gifted to us, that was taken by colonialism. And due to colonialism, we know that we have tribal nations here in Central Texas that still exist and that used this land and lived on this land and loved on this land before we were ever in the present day cities. In Central Texas, specifically in the Austin, Texas area, the Tonkawa, the Karankawa, the Comanche, and the Cowiiltican are 4 tribes that still exist today. And there are major watering holes that we use as recreational spaces that were used by these communities. And so it's important as a culturally responsive leader who's delivering this content to people in your area that you research who are the indigenous groups of your area. Restorative practices is in the multi-tiered systems of support realm. We look at how we respond on multiple tiers, so universal, targeted, and intensive. In the restorative continuum of intervention, we also look at what those formal practices look like versus what the informal practices look like. As one is developing a school-wide focus on restorative practices, it's required and it's very important to the process that the adults begin to understand affective statements and affective questions and the power in utilizing those to build relationships. And you'll see the continuum goes from there with small impromptu conferences at Tier 2, large group and formal conferences as we're moving into Tier 3. You'll also meet in this module Principal Brandy Hosack, the principal of McCallum High School in Austin Independent School District. She launched the restorative whole school process as a principal at Aikens High School as well, and has recently moved to McCallum High School and is launching that work there as well. So we talk a little bit about what she did as a principal at Aikens High School, and that work has continued after she left because of the systems and the processes, the protocols that she put in place that she's brought with her to McCallum High School. So it's very important that we not only give you the background and the history, but we also give you the practical everyday principals actually doing this work and leading this work with their schools, with their campuses and their campus communities. So I think you will love listening to these ladies talk about this work because they're both very passionate about the impacts of the work on their students and their families, and they've been able to create very relational spaces for their staff and students and families. And we leave you with this quote as you close out this module. When someone with the authority of a teacher describes the world and you're not in it, there's a moment of psychic disequilibrium, as if you looked into a mirror and saw nothing. So we hope that as you engage with this module, as you lead people through this module, as you choose to do this module for the communities that you work with and are responsible for, that you will consider the main reason that we want to have a culturally responsive focus with restorative practices is so that students will be able to look into a mirror, no matter where they are in your school communities, and see themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ward, for spotlighting that pathway This is an excellent pathway, and I really encourage everyone to access this once it's on our website. I think this whole module is very important, and this particular pathway is likewise important. We also hope you check out our other webinars showcasing all 10 modules. And once this website goes live, you'll find all these modules, pathways, and resources being uploaded as they're finalized and released. We'll have a webinar specifically focused on navigating the website. And this summer, we'll have a webinar looking ahead to our work for the next school year. So thank you so much for being a part of TIER.